Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day today, and I've got something really cool to go over with you guys. I unboxed this about a week ago, and this is a big surprise that Tactile sent me out to check out. I've had the Tactile Maverick. I own that knife, one of their first ones. I've interviewed, I've done an overview of the Archer, which Lord Needham sent me, which is a wonderful knife. My buddy A to Z had the Maverick. What did I say I had? I have the I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, the Maverick was the bar lock, and then the one I've got was the first one. I'll come to it in a second. But this is the Chupacabra. The Chupacabra is a mythical, possibly real, beast that creeps around the southwest and other areas and is kind of wolf-like, very, very intimidating. And I think what led to this being thought of as a beast of a knife was when this blade design was first brought into, I guess, conceptual. Because if you know anything about tactile turn, and I'll get out my little not the Bexar. Is it the Maverick? I don't know what this little guy's called. Guys, I just forget. But when you look at this and you look at the blade stock, it is night and day. So where this to me was the quintessential gentleman's folder, my great office knife, MAGNACUT, very sharp, very dialed action, very nice materials, fit and finish. This knife, I think, raises the bar on the Archer, which is a lot more expensive, which I really appreciated, but the price point was a little, I had a hard time justifying it, and I'm not saying it wasn't worth it. I'm just talking about personally. And then the red and yellow one, I think that was the Maverick. I really like that knife. That was a good knife, but it was a little bit more dainty. What I've noticed about this knife is this is a solid feeling tool that has several things going for it. The first being the price. That's not the first. That's going to be the last. The first thing it's got going for it is quality USA made materials. From these aluminum handles to these steel liners to this Superlock. The Superlock, if I'm not mistaken, is the Snex lock that is open sourced, that was used recently on the Wii Vision R, and also modified a little bit and used on the Civivi Vision FG. Basically, it's a lock that operates similar to a Demco, but it controls the lockup from a totally different place. And for the first time that I experienced was through the Vision R. I then learned it was a lock that had been used before. And if my understanding is correctly, this is the first company, definitely the first US company, to do a production knife using the Superlock. And I love the Superlock for several reasons. A, it's very easy to close without putting your hands in the blade's path. B, it's very fidgety. And C, it's totally unique and it locks up like a champ. The only weirdness was in my Wii Vision FG, which is this one here, the detent, and I think it's because of where that hole was positioned, was not super snappy, right? This was the expensive version. Then the Civivi came out with thumb studs that gave you, I think, a lot more traction, that made the detent much snappier. And again, the blade steel doesn't compare to what is on this beast of a Chupacabra. So then on the Chupacabra, your detent is 100% snapperific. Whether I use my reverse flick, whether I use just my thumb studs, and I'm horizontal so it's not falling like it would if I was just turning it right side up. One complaint I'd heard about this knife was that the jimping was a little weak. I can attest to that. For some people, the jimping is a little weak. My first experience with the Superlock, and where I got really comfortable with it, was with the Wii Vision R, which has absolutely no jimping. But I learned, just because I carried this knife and manipulated it so often, that depending on the way I pushed it, the jimping wasn't really necessary. Civivi comes along, and they add jimping in the front and on the side, which is actually more aggressive, but I think the jimping's done better on the Chupacabra because it allows your finger to actually ride perfectly on that, where on the Vision FG and the Vision R, I can feel that Superlock in my thumb. It's not a horrible thing, but it's just very, very noticeable, right? So this guy might have the ability to slip off, but if you're familiar where it is and you know where to grab the jimping, I think the overall design and the profile, the way it lines your hand up with the main jimping, the way that it cradles your hand, you've really got one grip here, and we'll get some measurements here in a second. You've got a really nice sharpening choil, comes down to about right here, so plenty of sharpenings on this 64-65 MAGNACUT sheep's foot blade. This is the stonewash variation. There's also a satin variation. Both were restocked at DLT. I will leave an affiliate link down below if they're still in stock. These guys go for $249, made in the USA, Dallas, Texas, as seen here. Or you can get it for $269 with a custom Lynch Clip. There's absolutely no movement in this blade. It is absolutely next level comfortable, next level secure, very, very strong locking system. And the blade profile and I believe a combination of the materials make for an absolute laser beam. So let me break this out. This is just the factory edge. And I'll cut through some more cardboard, but we've been ripping cardboard. Coming back to paper, because this is one of those therapeutic slicers. Whoops. And then, real quickly, let me grab some cardboard to show you how easily it rips that. We will just cut off that right there. Very slicey, guys. Great knife, great utility, perfect size. I love the sheep's foot blade. I love the stonewash blade. I also love the satin blade. I think they both look great. You can see I got some tape residue on there. I will real quickly, because of my OCD, I will take one of my rags here. I'll clean that off before we do some size comparisons, some quick measurements, and a final weight and get out of here because this is taking us too long. I apologize. But I really was not knowing what to expect because I'm kind of a detent, a traditional detent guy, right? I like a frame lock. This knife came and instantly blew me away. The price point I felt was as aggressive as any tactile knife I've seen, and just an absolute banger. So looking at it next to the Vision FG, similar size there. Wii Vision R will be the same. It's going to be smaller than the ProTech Mordax. Going to be a little bit smaller than the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. it is going to be smaller than the Doug Ritter Hogue. And it's going to be bigger than the Bug Out. But guys, what I can tell you is it is a fantastic size. It is beefy. We'll get a quick measurement there on the width. Let's do that now. Since I'm taking too long, let's get our calipers. And let's look at our blade stock. 0.1420. Behind the edge, which I'm not good at getting. 0.0155. Handle thickness, I'm guessing a ½ inch. 0.5295. And then, since we've compared it to our friends, let's see what it comes in at. And I'll put dimensions, I'll copy dimensions from Tactile's website so you can see their actual dimensions. But I'm getting between 7 3/4 and 8 inches, right between 7 3/4 and 8 inches. I'm getting a blade of 3 1/4 with 3-inch cutting area, an inside grip of right under 3½ inches. So right under 3½ inches from here to here. No lanyard tube, unless you want to hook something on the back, which I wouldn't. No reversible clip. Fantastic jimping. Fantastic ergos. Very, for me, for a USA-made aluminum MAGNACUT knife with a Superlock, which I think is very innovative. Even though they didn't come up with it, they were brave enough to use it. I'm a huge fan. That is the Tactile Knife Company Chupacabra. And I mispronounced that. Great knife. Guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you every channel member that supports the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you for anyone who comes in and watches my knife and EDC content. If you're so inclined and I convince you to hit that subscribe button, I would be forever indebted. And if you would please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.